Today I will talk about Mercury in Pisces. But first of all, what is Mercury? Mercury is the planet that represents the way we process information, think, and communicate with others. In Western astrology, being in Pisces, Mercury is considered to be detrimental, which means that it's operating in a planet far away to its natural home. So the planet has to utilize tools that are alien to the planet. Naturally, traditionally, Mercury is ruled by signs of Gemini and Virgo. Gemini, led by curiosity, collects information, and Virgo analyzes, structures, and perfects information. With Pisces, Mercury doesn't have these tools at all. So how to survive, how to thrive even with this sign, I will talk about it in this video. So basically I will talk from my own perspective, from a phenomenological perspective. I will also represent how I adapted to this position of Mercury, how Mercury in Pisces fits into traditional educational system and the concept of intelligence. How can Mercury in Pisces be expressed fully, where I thrived with this position? And I will also represent a few examples of world's famous thinkers who, although didn't have Mercury in Pisces, but whose Mercury was influenced by other Piscean placements in their charts. So let's begin. How it feels to have Mercury in Pisces. Imagine you are in a daily setting, driving, learning something, or trying to fix something, but it just doesn't click. You fall behind others, you struggle to catch up, you might stress out, signal for help. Anyway, it's not easy. Feels like knowing zero about math and yet standing by the blackboard in a classroom with everyone peering at you. Believe me, I have been there. And this has been one of the greatest dramas of my life, one of the greatest struggles. Because it's not only difficult at the moment that I have just described, but it also has influenced my choices in life. As a result, it influenced me as a personality, and it influenced probably my future. I would select and make choices based on this position, for instance, recalibrating my profile, what I would like to study, changing my profile, even choosing people with whom I can talk to or with whom I can be friends, with whom I feel more comfortable with. So it's been a lot of struggle and a lot of adjustment. If you feel like falling behind, feeling confused, a lot of times, despite your relatively neutral emotional tone, it's likely that you also have this position of your Mercury, and you need to look into your chart to define its overall strength, to see which house it falls into. To me, Mercury falls in the very house of perception itself, into the third house. And it's also in the anorectic degree of 29 degrees, which makes it even more complicated. So I feel I have the utmost right to speak about this position because I really have experienced it in probably one of the greatest intensities. The house will define, where your Mercury might express itself more fully, more prominently, and where you might experience some struggles also, more than in other areas. It has happened so that facing these struggles, I had the tools to help me a bit. So how did I adapt to Mercury in Pisces? Well, I was helped by my moon in Virgo. Basically, I was, and I still am, so I have been pulled by the straps of my boots by my Virgo moon. Virgo who likes to control, Virgo who likes to analyze, Virgo who, as I mentioned before in this video, is the ruler of Mercury, right? So Virgo would really interfere and help me with my Mercurian struggles. But it didn't happen freely. It did happen at a huge cost. I would spend hours and hours after school, not only doing homework, but also trying to understand, fully grasp the information already explained at class. So it was like doubling the lessons and doing homework on top of that. Not only did I catch up, but also I excelled. And a lot of times I was one of the greatest students, or even the greatest student in my classroom. However, the cost was that I lost a lot of time. Basically, I can courageously assert that I lost my childhood. I lost extracurricular activities. I lost leisure, pastime with friends. I missed out. I missed out largely. But the system was happy. The system that really valued education, the system that really valued educational proficiency didn't mind, and it didn't even know that I struggled because I managed to conceal it so well. The system was happy. I was partly happy as well. Because I could control what was constantly slipping out of my hands. And I could maintain my image of at least being somebody, at least being a good student, having a role of this good student. So I had to struggle and I had to fight. I had to work very hard to maintain it. And although I maintained my role and received some applause, my essence, my heart was not happy because the way my mind works didn't fit into traditional educational system. So how Piscean intelligence fits into traditional educational system and the concept of intelligence. I do not mean to blame the educational system that I know faces so many challenges. And it's adapting to different kids more. Luckily, it is catching up little by little. But inevitably, it is still the system that is a part of a larger system where Piscean attributes such as imagination, spaciness, intuition, and even temporary confusion do not fit into the narrow way intelligence is usually defined at schools that reward accurate, analytical, linear, and fast reasoning. Piscean intelligence can reason as well, but under different conditions, differently. These conditions could potentially complicate the learning process and make it impractical. For instance, if I'm in a new setting learning something new, I struggle a lot at the beginning, but eventually, after more time than average, I find my way around. But if someone asks me to explain to somebody, I might not know what to say and how to explain it. I might just blunder, looking like a newbie myself. I cannot just say, just flow, just trust your instincts, your intuition. That would seem ridiculous. So the system just cannot adapt them where majority, people are different They just cannot adapt to such a model. It would be too impractical, it would look too crazy and impossible. It would take way more time. Piscean intelligence is a flow of energy, not a matter that you can label, categorize, pack into boxes and use conveniently. Hence, it is not very practical, hence it is called detrimental. But detrimental functioning doesn't mean that it cannot function. To accept it is not easy. And redefining and empowering this position is even more challenging. First, I saw it as a flaw. Let's say I'm not good at math, I'm not good at specific tasks, and I need to compensate. That was it, that's how I saw it. I couldn't change my mind, so I chose to master compensation. But eventually, with age, I got so weary of this compensation, I began craving authenticity. To simply pause and slow down mental processes the way they are, without structuring, without extra effort to memorize information straight away. Then, of course, I can attract attention, I can look silly, I can, stop everyone else, I can, cause some nuisance around me. So the inner judgment would activate again. So I would, say, pull yourself together, structure yourself, you daydream too much. So I would oscillate between allowing myself this glimmer of my mind to shine and then structuring myself again, trying to fit in. As I mentioned before, my Mercury is in 29 degrees of Pisces. And it's the last degree before the sign switches into another sign. So it seems that, a lot of the times I would perceive it as something to finally release, something that I need to get rid of. And I would try to knock it out, if it was like an apple, I would just think I have to, get rid of it, shake it off from the tree as soon as possible. I found it as a nuisance, as a hindrance in my life. But now I'm discovering that even though it is the last degree and like an apple about to fall, a ripened apple, it still has to be fully expressed, no matter how bitter it is. So, how could it look like if Mercury in Pisces was expressed fully, the way it is, without trying to fit into the system, without trying to be correct, proper? How would it look like? What I discovered personally, and I think you will resonate, is that to express in its fullest, Piscean mind needs time. Piscean mind is a kaleidoscopic mind. You see so much at once because you see beneath the surface. If you rush to make sense or act appropriately, it is like developing a film, the old-fashioned film, before it is fully exposed. And we are exposed to a lot of shades, colors, vibrations, metaphorically speaking, that are beyond the man's eye, and time is necessary to absorb it all. However, time is also used to measure intelligence in many IQ tests that prioritize linear thinking. But Piscean thinking is not linear, it is chaotic, it is messy and pessimistic. That is flawed through the lens of conventional measures. And when you believe that your mind is flawed, you're not very keen on using it. And yes, I think personally, I think it's best not to use Piscean mind in tasks that require a lot of speed, the tasks that are very urgent and involve a lot of other people, involve matters of health or even life, let's say professions of first responders, firemen, and so on. But in other daily regular tasks, I think it could be very useful to take time out of the equation to see that Piscean mind can also thrive over there, to give this position more dignity, more power and empowerment. Others might already take their photos, hang them on the walls, whereas your film might still be developing. That's okay. Maybe you have more to develop, maybe you have more to depict, and that is your gift, that is your purpose in this life. I must admit that accepting the necessity of time and allowing time to really pass is not easy, because it can be really, really scary. If you just allow time to pass, if you allow the processes in your brain to slowly sink, it might seem really, really scary, like you're just sitting and doing nothing. But it's very important to realize and notice it for yourself that the light bulb for Piscean mind can light up unexpectedly after some time in a subconscious incubation, which usually is a process happening while we sleep, or not necessarily, but needs time generally. So this time is really useful, and then surprisingly, things we struggle with can come into place after we allow this time to pass. What you could also do to be more active in the process of learning is simply employ a lot of positive emotion, joy, embodiment, wonder, and seek instructors who could hold this frame of emotion, safe emotion for you. Find a friend or yourself become someone who holds this frame where you can explore with joy, freedom. And Pisces loves to explore. Pisces loves to discover, explore those shades and colors and sounds without any restrictions, without any predetermined need to perform and make it right. To just swim in the ocean of past experiences without a script, freely. Recently, I started attending dance classes, which was a huge threat for my Piscean mind, because it is this type of contemporary dances, which is pretty technical and complicated, because you move in a space in so many different directions and ways. It's not just like a linear dance where you just need to move your arms and a little bit of legs. It's pretty complicated and it's challenging. So the old me would be, fretting or trying, to employ this Virgo compensation, I should say, where I would, try to memorize everything, let's say film everything, learn everything by heart. But as I said, I'm so tired of this adaptation, of this compensation. And I discovered that I really want to learn it the way I learn it. Even though it means that I fall behind, even though it means that, it takes me double the time, I just wanted to be myself. I just want to be myself in this learning process. And so first thing I just mentioned, time. I allow time to pass, right? And second, I employ this joy, this discovery, this exploration, feeling good in my body first and foremost, feeling the music, feeling the wonder of those movements. And I notice that my emotions are at ease, and emotions are very important to Pisces Mercury, because it is a water sign, right? An emotional sign. When I feel at ease, I I flow more easily. I might not understand the dance, I might not really construct it in my head, the sequence, but when I allow my body to flow, it flows and it guides me intuitively. It allows me, to find a way even though I might not have a clue what I'm doing on the floor. So this is what I'm learning, and this is what I'm discovering in this frame of safety, wonder, joy, and exploration. Talking about facilitating Mercury in Pisces and bringing it into bloom, I remember circumstances that inherently allowed my Mercury to bloom. And the thing that pops into my head is languages. I feel a sense of freedom is what made me love languages at school and be good at them. From the very first lesson of English, I opened the door to the world of a lot of new sensations, impressions, a different culture. Wow, what a wonder. Up to this day, I remember my first conversation with a foreigner in English during a school excursion. I remember my first lesson. And I think it is so because it was very thrilling. And languages, right, not only brought that excitement, those sensations and colors and connections, but it also allowed a lot of freedom to make mistakes. For instance, I can construct the sentence and it might not be very eloquent yet, right? But it still makes sense. So I feel more space to move and make mistakes. Whereas I didn't feel this freedom with sciences, where only one answer was the right answer, right? In mathematical equation, for instance. It's like comparing a net, fishing net, or the fishing rod. And when you don't catch anything with that rod, your motivation withers, right? Outwardly, I might still be struggling, I might still be trying my best, maybe getting great grades, but inwardly I'm already collapsed. There's no more reinforcement. So this is the discovery that I made to myself, right? What are the conditions for this intelligence to bloom? And my rule-loving, discerning Virgo was just embellishing the connections that were being made with a lot of joy and freedom. So that includes grammar, learning the rules, which are also necessary in languages. So everything fell into place, but primarily the space, needed for me to learn these languages well was the freedom, the joy, connections, empathy, being able to talk to someone, understand somebody, express yourself, feel others. All these things necessary to a mind as complex as Piscean mind were simply satisfied, and it felt motivating, right? I received good feedback, and this feedback was strengthening my motivation. The collapse engagement with science is another specific subject led me to making a sort of stereotype about what Piscean mind can and cannot do, limiting it primarily to arts and languages. But recently, having tapped more into the metaphysics, into the quantum physics, and the great thinkers who were dealing with the sciences and such topics, I discovered a few examples who can illustrate, right, how Piscean mind can bring incredible innovations and discoveries into the world of science. So the first example is Albert Einstein. His quote, "The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift." To Albert Einstein, images, sensations, and feelings of harmony appeared long before equations. For instance, He imagined a boy chasing a beam of light or a man falling off a roof. Those images were followed by sensations, insights, and only later by logic, math, and finally his relativity theories. Einstein didn't only do simple thought experiments, right? He saw and felt entire scenes with sensory and bodily vividness. And as I mentioned, vividness, sensations, emotions are extremely important for Piscean mind. Another example is Nikola Tesla, who visualized entire innovations in his head, and he claimed that he could almost touch and operate them in his imagination. He believed that ideas were revealed, not just constructed, which is pure mysticism. This example of Tesla illustrates an important feature of Piscean mind. First, it sees the whole, right? The whole image, senses it vividly, and then refines the details, whereas a logical mind builds from zero, piece by piece. It builds up until it constructs the whole. So I'm providing these examples of great minds not to make them look superior, but to give some credence for the type of thinking that, unless genius struggles to find space, not only in educational system, but also in society, of which that education system is part of. So my summary and final advice. If you hold on to environment and logic first, real learning and creation will not happen if you have this position, Mercury in Pisces. If you try very hard memorizing and being like everybody else, you might succeed. You might have tools, just as I did, to gain proficiency, but you will only look proficient on the surface. It will only be a good mimicry. Exactly how I made through most of my school years. To Pisces Mercury, every learning should begin with wonder, emotion, story, pattern, recognition. Piscean memory memorizes through metaphor and emotion. Logic only comes to verify what is sensed and experienced. Logic only tidies things up. It doesn't need to be a tyrant for precision straight away. This is the structure, but you need to have courage first. A courage to blunder, to make mistakes, to look silly sometimes, to be genuine. And if you're scared to look silly, to take more time, always remember that taking more time or looking a little bit off, you pay respect to your nature, you pay respect to your mind. And what also helps this courage is understanding, which is mostly lacked in the educational system, understanding that your mind also has a purpose, that it is not inherently flawed, that it is just different. So the purpose of this Piscean mind is to go deeper than the surface, to transfer the invisible to the visible. Logic is control, intuition is surrender. We are here to channel God, to bring divine back among us. The gift of mental power comes from God, divine being. And if we concentrate our minds on that truth, we become in tune with greater power. Nikola Tesla.